Ready?
The ready sound.
I got that reference.
It's like I need that to calibrate myself into podcast mode. I don't know what it is.
It's up there with soup mode, isn't it?
It's soup mode.
Slip into soup mode.
Yeah, it's like a metronome. I can go, okay, I'm gonna podcast. I'm gonna do it. Welcome to Rhythm and Pixels. This is episode 38-2. We are a video game music podcast, and we are your hosts. My name is Rob Nichols.
And I'm Pernell.
Every week we listen to great video game music. Every month we give it to you.
We try to anyway. I mean, the man's trying to shake us down for beats lately, and it's hard to pay
If
up.
I receive one more cease and desist from Capcom, from Squaresoft, from Konami, they're piling up at this point, and it's fine. I'm gonna work through that to bring you video game music.
And I'm going to appreciate that you're working through that.
No, it's only ever happened from Squaresoft.
That's good to hear. I was worried for a second.
Yeah.
I remember Squaresoft, but those other ones were very new.
Yeah, I was just joking. Nintendo is very they like to do that kind of thing online, but they've never come to us. It's never been a problem.
I'm knocking on all the wood.
It's fine. If they're like, hey, you can't play our music anymore, I'd be like, that's a lot of music we can't play anymore.
But was there a time where something did happen with them, and for like a good couple of months we wouldn't pick Nintendo tracks?
Yeah, it was after I think Sylvaguna got took down.
That's what. Okay, it was. They didn't come to us, I guess.
No, they didn't. But we were like, we should play it safe. Yeah. And then we got that SquareSoft cease and desist, and I was like, maybe I should take some shirts off of the website. But no, they're all back on now. So, but before we get started on anything, I want to say that our good friends Cameron and Cameron,
sounds like a television
friends Cameron and Cameron have produced a beautiful album out
Cam Shop, right?
So we're gonna have links to that on our website. I also want to say that hey, it's the holiday season. If you got a little extra holiday bucks around, come to rhythmandpixels.com/merch. We got some great new designs and some new shirts, hoodies. Check it out there. They're all on sale right now, and I think like $4 or $5 off. They're great quality shirts. I'm wearing the Tim Fallon shirt right now. I wear it every day to work.
I need to get one.
It's underneath my other clothes. I just rip off my shirt.
Okay.
My wife says, "What is that? What does that say?" Because it's the heavy metal scratchy font. And I say, "It says Tim Fallon." She says, "Who's Tim Fallon?" I'm like, "Okay, so it's a metal shirt, and it's a video game composer, and it has the wizard,
and he doesn't compose metal music."
I know it's too many things. Okay, so all of that aside, all that's done. We also have a guest on the show. If you heard us last week, then you heard his voice. He's back again.
His dulcet tones.
It is
what?
Chris Taylor.
Hi.
From Twitch, from the bands Super High Tops and Gimmick! !
He puts it down.
It's true.
Putting it down. You play the bass. Play the bass.
Yeah, the bass and guitar and anything else that they'll allow me to. Bass would be my primary instrument.
Yeah, that's when my cousin plays guitar, and when he's playing with his band or if I'm at his house, if they let me play the drums, I will play the drums. But it's always like, will they let me play the drums? Then I will play the drums.
I like trying to play the drums. I can't kick pedal to save my life. Yeah. That's what kills me.
Yeah,
that's definitely the hard thing.
Yeah, because you can always coordinate your hands, but drummers use all four of their limbs. Mm-hmm. That's a lot. That's a lot. So good drummers, you're like, whoa.
That's why I never got good at Drum Mania, because even though they introduced things like auto bass, I was like, but if I'm not playing the bass, am I actually playing the drum?
Yeah.
And the answer is no.
You're kind of missing out on that extra piece. But if you get good at it, then you've learned an actual skill.
Yeah, it's the only music game, aside from maybe Keyboard Mania, that you actually could say you learned fundamentals of an actual instrument by getting good at the game.
Yeah.
I wish there was a popping instrument in real life. That'd be great, like a synthesizer.
Well, I mean, a lot of these things are like, I guess the analog would be like a MIDI controller, because a lot of DJs will just use a pad of buttons, and you could, there's a thing called a launch pad, which was Novation created it years ago. It is a Launchpad McQuack. But it's a pad of just essentially it's 6x6 just little buttons. And then someone retrofitted it called the MIDI Fighter, and they just took the buttons out and put in arcade buttons.
Oh.
And then you're like, oh, well, why don't I just use my arcade stick? Or why don't you can use anything really as a controller. So they're out there. Things are out there, but I don't know if people are really using them for what. Because
ask Mulder, he'll tell you.
It's
you can get into the
he believes.
You can get into the noise genre where somebody played music, quote unquote, by sawing a piece of wood.
Sounds like I should get into that genre. I could actually become a musician then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody can do noise.
I'm sold then.
Yeah. Pernell,
you
need a cool
time to become DJ Skittles for real.
I was gonna say you need a cool artist name, but you've already got it.
DJ Skittles.
Yeah, what are you spinning? Spinning the saws.
Very good.
Saws? Yeah. Hey guys, where do I plug in?
I got bottles. I got saws. What you got?
Can I recommend an addendum to that? Is DJ Skittles with original lime. Just so that people know that you're not the sour apple kind.
I'm not that fraud. I'm the real deal, baby.
Yeah. There's still
the
Halloween
OG.
candy in my office, and no one's eating the Skittles, and so that's perfect for me. I love Skittles. That's my favorite candy.
DJ
And
Skittles with original lime.
Yeah.
It's a top 10
lime.
for me. As long as it's the lime. As long as it's the lime. It's a top 10.
I like that a lot. So this episode is all about the holiday season and gift giving. And so I kind of want to go around think about the holiday season and video game memories. Do you have anything that comes to mind that you want to share? Like fun. Let's
go with the guest
fun
first.
Gaming stuff. Yeah.
Chris,
I'm going to put you on the spot.
Oh, man. Well, nothing's going to beat Christmas of 1989. First Nintendo Entertainment System. Got it from my grandmother.
Oh.
She sent it from Texas to Massachusetts, where the family was living at the time. I lived there briefly, and then we moved back to Texas, and that's where I've been since. But I got that, and then my uncle had also pitched in and bought a copy of the brand new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles NES game. Ooh. And so that was the first game I owned besides the Mario/Duck Hunt cart, because it was the action set.
Was it also your first gaming tantrum?
I never really tantrumed at Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I enjoyed it a lot. Yeah. It's like I would lose, and then I would just be like, well, here we go again.
See, I love the game, but I absolutely used to get pissed off when you got stun locked and the stuff where you kept missing that jump on the second level before you learned you could just walk it.
But when you're a kid and you only have so many games, especially if it really is like you're one of two games that you own, you're going to play that thing and you're going to get better at it.
I was not looking a gift horse in the mouth on that one. I would say I'm trying to remember what the first game that I actually owned that really frustrated me was, and it's hard to come up with. I could tell you games I own now that frustrate me. They start with Donkey Kong and end with Country.
See, I love
a number.
I love Donkey Kong. Those games. I like that I could always just I always would farm for one-ups if I need them for I remember. But
it's true. Donkey Kong Country 2 is brilliant for that.
Like, as long as I had the lives. That's why I'm kind of okay with games kind of throwing away the life system and just letting you play until you succeed, because all you would do is farm for lives anyway.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I mean,
I will say that it provides a much-needed cooldown for me. To go back to the first world and farm lives for a while and be taken out of it. Of course, that means that definitely the first 5 lives are going to get sacrificed on, just trying to get the muscle memory built back up. But yeah, I mean, that's, I think worse than that even though is the punch out method when you're going up. Well, of course, when you're going up against, any of the third round, guys like, Soda Popinski, Mr. Sandman and whatnot, you had to start the whole circuit over. And so you'd have to box these other boxers that needed different strategies before you could get to the one that you lost to. But then when you got to the end, the very last guy, be it Mike Tyson or Mr. Dream, it's you did get to start over at them, so you didn't have to go back, but you had to enter the password every single time.
But at least we had access to using the password.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. No, the password is great. I mean, that's the only reason why I was able to beat the game, but I'm just saying that the ceremony of entering the password to get there was just disheartening.
Yeah. I mean,
because of the sheer volume amount of times that I lost. It
was a punishment. A lot of earlier video games were based off of the arcade format of if you lose, then if you die, then we have to start you back at the beginning. Otherwise, you pay more money, or you pay more money to keep playing. So then that translated back to home consoles, where like they were still figuring out how to do it. So they were just emulating what was in the arcades, where it's like, okay, you have 4 lives, and if you lose, you get 2 continues, and then that's it. And you're like, why am I being punished for something I enjoy doing? You know,
they make that money.
Yeah, but you're not putting quarters into your Nintendo. But then, of course, the whole, making things harder so that you can rent them for longer or whatever.
It was a special day indeed. The first day that I played Guerrilla War on the NES, which featured rich kid strats. That is to say, that's my name for a game that allows you to continue exactly from the spot where you died. As long as you can keep hitting, as long as you can keep dumping quarters in, you can win. Guerrilla War does that. You have infinite continues, and you always continue from the exact spot you died.
Just brute force.
And so, winning is a guarantee. You just won't have the score.
We used to play a lot of Super Off-Road in the arcade, and I used to love that game because every time, as long as you didn't finish last, you can keep playing, and you can earn money during your game, and you can upgrade your car. But if you just popped quarters into the machine, you just got money. And you can just so you just do one race, and then you can upgrade your car all the way. So there's always like one kid in the arcade that came in with like all this money, and he put it all in one game. You're like, well, he's gonna win every single race, so we're just fighting for second or third.
Hey, and if it makes him feel better to spend $10 just to upgrade his car and knock himself out.
So annoying. I hated that stuff.
So what was your Christmas?
So it's probably, I've talked about my first Game Boy. I think that was 89. When the Game Boy came out.
Game Boy was 89.
89, I think. That was pretty amazing. But I think it was a year or two later. We got an NES secondhand from somebody, like much, much later, after it had come out. And it was after Christmas, just after Christmas. We had returned something. We had to return some clothes that didn't fit. And we were like, hey, there's the Tiny Toons Nintendo game. Let's pick that up. My dad was like, that sounds great. I like the Tiny Toons. And so we picked it up, and we all sat down as a family and played Tiny Toons together.
On the Game Boy?
No, on the Nintendo.
Oh, Nintendo.
On the Nintendo. So it was just at night. We're just sitting there in front of the TV, just each one of us taking turns trying to play Tiny Toons.
It was a fun game, too.
Yeah, it was fun. It wasn't like super hard, and we weren't trying to like beat it or anything. We were just having fun with it. And it was just really nice memory, yeah.
I hear that.
Yeah, I like that.
Buster Bust Loose, however, that's a
gem.
punishment.
No,
well, it's a gem. It's so hard though. The levels are so impossibly long, and the second one is an auto scroller.
I feel like the only level that gave me real trouble in that game was the level and the Sky Jinx, it was called. And at the end of it, when you get the trophy, the tower, you're in a tower and it starts to collapse. You have to actually have pulled off mastery of the dash mechanic to run up the walls and dash and keep getting trophies to keep your dash meter maxed out. And now I can do it but up with my eyes closed. But back then, I died so many times. God, I love that game.
It's a good game. It's just like I said, it definitely does. It's not an easygoing game. Let's call it that.
That is true.
It's intense.
So, what about you, Pernell?
So for me, at one point I wanted to say probably like the year that Yoshi's Island came out, but the truth of the matter is, I think my favorite Christmas was one where my mom really did a surprise number on me because I wasn't expecting the present she got me because we didn't have any money, that's for sure. But she scrounged it up and got me a Turbo Duo. She knew that I really had a fondness for the TurboGrafx 16, which I already had. But my uncle's friend Jake had the TurboGrafx with the CD and everything. And he was playing all the cool games. He had the Ease. He had Dragon Slayer, which I was a big fan of back then, and I wish I could own it.
Nice.
Riot Zone. He was basically in high school at the time, so he was working, getting money, buying every game as they were coming out. And then he sold them for peanuts and didn't give them to me. But I really wanted that setup. So she went and somehow found the Turbo Duo, which, for those who don't know, it was the final release that they put out for the console in America, which was the HuCard Super CD combo unit. And nowadays it's actually a rare device to even own. and it cost, I want to say $400 at the time.
Yeah, those things were not cheap.
And she saved and she saved,
Oh, wow.
and she bought it for me. And I got it in the mail. Not in the mail. I got it under my tree. I lost my ever loving mind over it. Played it to death. Was obsessed with Ease. That's when I became a big fan of Falcom. Was because of Ease.
Nice.
And then I mean, years later, I remember my mom told me my uncle wanted to borrow it when he went down to Virginia for school, and I didn't want to give it to him. I was like, just let him borrow it. He ain't going to do nothing to it. Damaged the heck out of that thing. I didn't get it back. I'm not even making it up, for at least 12 years.
Oh, no.
And when I got it back, his dog had chewed up the AC adapter.
Oh, that's right. This is why you had to get it repaired, yeah.
And in addition to that, I'm going to get the terminology wrong, so forgive me in advance. The conductors died on the soundboard, so I couldn't put music in it. It couldn't play music either. So I had to get the sound repaired, and I had to get a new AC adapter to get it to work again, and that took me a long time to do.
Ooh.
But I do now still have that working Turbo Duo in my house, and I cherish the hell out of it. It's such a wonderful device. And
That's awesome.
I wish it got more love than it did in the States.
Well, I think we're going to hear some more Falcom music today.
Dun, dun,
Dun, dun, dun. Because today is all about gift giving. The gift of jams. Giving the gift of jams to each other. And to the listeners, of course.
Raspberry jam.
These are some serious jams with a Z, of course. So I thought we would all pick tracks we would give to each other. And we'll start with Chris.
Okay. I guess my first gift is for you, dear Rob.
Okay.
This is a so I understand that you like obscure songs.
I do.
I
do.
Excellent. Okay, so this is from I'm pulling up some information on it right now, actually. A 1996 DOS game called Punky Duck.
I love it already.
Kind of a combination shoot 'em up platform and adventure game, developed, published by Condor Software. We're not sure about the composer. I think because there's two other games that Condor Software made where they did credit sound to Frank Amoros. So I think that would be the composer here, but there's no official credits for Punky Duck. However, I want to share the menu theme. It was uploaded by a friend of mine from Twitch. She is a DOS expert, especially on obscurities. And she uploaded this herself and actually personally requested that my band one day cover it. And I'm still trying to get that broken through.
All right.
This is a real jam.
I watched some gameplay on YouTube. I didn't see anything with the menu, but I watched the gameplay and someone commented like, I think this is the only gameplay footage of this game anywhere on the internet. And it was kind of crazy looking, but like 3D platforming for what it was fascinating. So anyway, I have it queued up. We're going to listen to music from Punky Duck.
And I'm sure there's no Glomer featured in this game, unfortunately.
Oh my gosh, that was menu music from Punky Duck for DOS, unknown composer. Holy moly, cannoli! Like that was. We said
Funkalicious.
we talked a bit while it was playing, but oh my gosh, like it does not know like what's the meme? It didn't have to go that hard. It did not.
Yeah.
Oh, but like this is not hard. This is smooth, super smooth. Like that. Like it doesn't sound. If I hear a smooth track now, especially if it's got kind of like a lo-fi hip hop sound to it, like a lot of things sound very samey because I feel like they're all getting lifted from the same sample packs or the same like license-free music pack from somewhere. But this is someone put some love and care into this menu music, and this game is not like this music at all.
No, it's incongruous. In fact, like Punky Duck is like a punk. He's got like a mohawk and everything. Yeah. Like why?
Yeah.
Did somebody make a typo?
So it's like an almost like a modern over-the-shoulder like shooter, except that it's a 2D sprite of a duck from behind, but you're moving on a 3D space. Like definitely, there's definitely like a Z-axis, which is really interesting.
Yeah, it weirdly reminds me of like Daggerfall. But if you're riding your horse and like your horse face is like there, or head rather.
For me, it kind of reminded me of like those really old golf games where it would like have to draw the screen, every time the ball landed, because it would figure out like the lay of the land. That was like Jack Nicklaus's 18 Holes of Championship Golf, right? Yeah, something like there's a few, or the LPGA or the PGA Tour, or I'm sure there was an LPGA Tour, but the PGA Tour, all those were very similar. But this one is fast paced, and from what I've read, is impossible to finish. It's because you have to like collect items, but it doesn't tell you where they are, and if you don't get them in the right order, you'll never finish it. So people just play this game forever and never really get anywhere with it. But
wow,
it looked pretty cool.
Yeah, now I finally stopped being lazy and pulled up an image of it myself. Yeah, I think I would play that.
A Punky Duck?
I would absolutely play Punky Duck.
All right.
Yeah, totally. I had to look up the title because I always have to look up the title. It's Jack Nicklaus's Greatest 18 Holes of Major Championship Golf.
I love that. It's like you're watching a video of his best 18 holes ever of championship golf.
If you look at the like game cover, if you like Google it, like the one that they used, not the NES game, because that's pretty reasonable. It was like published by Konami, but like the Commodore 64 version. The like title is like a paragraph. It's 4 lines. Like Jack Nicklaus's Greatest 18 Holes of Major Championship Golf Accolade.
The Revenge.
You won't believe your eyes.
Yeah. 2-player action.
Hard to beat.
You've never played a golf game like this before.
You've never played a golf game like this before. All right. This is an even number episode, so it'll be my track next. All right. So I know that Chris, you love obscure RPGs.
So it's Punky Duck.
No. Yes. JRPGs. So I went
Punky Duck Quest.
I went and I mined some Japanese-only RPGs for the Sony PlayStation and looked for some cool music. So this is from a game called Volfos for the PlayStation. Do you know this one?
Sweet. No, I don't really.
Yeah,
I've heard the name before.
It looks pretty. I mean, the art style looks incredible, and it's kind of a tactical RPG, Japan only. We're going to listen to battle music by Kyoko Sakai. listening to music from the game Volfos for the Sony PlayStation. This is music by Kyoko Sakai, and yeah, it's a little bit for both of you.
Chug 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 chug.
It's got some good metal music, and
yeah,
Like the
that
mosh
was
pit
great.
stanky leg over here.
it's got
Go ahead.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
go ahead.
just got a very cool gothic theme to it, and a really awesome opening. And the ending credits is by an American artist, and I didn't recognize the name, but clearly, like, I think the developers in Japan had idolized some American guitar players and metal players. So everything is heavy metal in this game, which is pretty cool.
I'm actually
Excellent,
sad it didn't
yeah.
come out in the States because it came out in 2001 apparently. I was thinking for a second that it came out before Tales of Destiny or something. But no, this is later in the PS1's life.
It's a Namco joint, yeah.
Yeah, and that's what surprised me because I always thought that they were all about the Tales games, and that was
Or at least
pretty much it.
Namco published anyway. I don't know who the developer is on that.
Don't put me on the spot. I don't
Come
know.
on, man.
This is a quick Googling, man.
Yeah.
Developed and published by Namco.
Okay, there you go.
They did both.
Yeah.
Got that
Yeah,
gnarly
really,
character art.
I like the part where it drops down to like just the bass and like those clean guitars kind of come in.
Yeah.
Also, the guitar riff has like a harmony guitar riff that comes in, so it's just like two guitar riffs coming in, like hello, hello.
Hello.
Oh, it's interesting because I
Yeah.
think when you think of JRPGs now, there's usually a lot more. It's usually like a lot more piano and violin, and it's more fantasy, like kind of fantastical with the heavy rock. But this is
Sure.
straight up like chugga chugga, heavy metal choo choo, and
Yeah.
very stripped down
Um,
for an RPG. Anyway,
Character designs on this are really gnarly.
yeah, it looks cool. Yeah.
Angry die with spikes on one side, a mouth on another, and the two eyes on one other side, and then legs at the bottom.
Yeah, maybe it didn't get picked up. Maybe because
Probably a lot of the art, because I know, hell, you think back on like how hard it was just to get
Yeah.
Persona 2
That's what I
over
was
here.
gonna say. Like, it could have been like some themes in some of the artwork where like maybe hitting the wrong buttons, and Namco wasn't gonna push it.
There's a character that's like an angel with a small crop top, and their halo is a buzzsaw. Like that's
Yeah.
just rocking.
This when I see that and like the Namco thing, it's like it just makes me think of Batten Kaitos a little bit. Like this could have been a villain easily in Batten Kaitos.
That's one game I need to sit down and play. I thought about buying the dual pack they put out, but I went through my
Yeah.
old collection and discovered that I actually did buy the first Batten Kaitos and forgot. So now I'm like,
Oh, nice.
but that's the thing now. I'm like, since I already own Batten Kaitos, should I wait till the game is 50% off so I can get the sequel? Or just suck it up?
I mean, the sequel's going to cost you twice as much as the full price of the HD remaster, so,
Oh, like if you went out and got the
but-
sequel physically?
Yeah. Now, yeah, definitely the first Batten Kaitos is worth playing just on its own, and it is worth playing the original version because it has the English voice acting, which is it's very interesting. Some choices were made, and the recording is like weird too. Everybody sounds like they're coming like coming from inside like a jacket pocket or something like that.
Oh, weird.
Is it like Saturday morning cartoon quality, or we talking the janitor's
it
nephew
gets there.
quality?
It gets there.
Oh yeah.
It's it gets into like that
That's actually a
Mega
plus
Man
for Pernell.
X4 area.
Oh, absolutely. Stand
no,
back,
yeah.
knave.
You call someone a knave, like Pernell's all about it.
I'm in.
Yeah.
In.
There's one particular outcry at a certain very spoilery point in the game that you'll be quoting it like to people and they'll never know what you're talking about. But yeah, it's very it's catchy bad voice acting. Let's call it that.
I love that. See, like, it's like watching a bad movie for different reasons, because it's fun. But if it's a good game but with bad voice acting, you're like, well, that's still fun, right?
I'm ready.
Yeah.
I am ready.
Well, I'm ready for your first track.
Well, this is the only one that's really gone off the beaten path, I think, for this episode, but I'm playing it anyway. My first track goes out to someone that's not on this episode.
What?
Whoa,
Oh, I feel hurt.
Chuck. Nah, I don't feel hurt. It ties up with the RPG train.
That's fine.
But the person that it's going out to is a fellow podcast host that goes by the name of Martyrs, who hosts the VGM podcast. I haven't talked to the guy in a while, but he's a genuine quality person. And unfortunately, he's gone through some trials and tribulations with the Spotify algorithm and all of this nonsense. So I just kind of wanted to put this out there to be like, hey, show a sign of support and let you know that even though you might not hear from us that often, we still think about you over here. We still hope for the best because you are a quality guy. And if I'm in California South again, I'm coming to see you. This track actually comes from an RPG because I know that it's one of your favorite genres of video game. And I decided this would be a good opportunity to play what is probably my favorite track of 2024 in the form of it. And it's actually an RPG game. So, you get a great track for Christmassy. This is called Farde Mal Diavolo from the game. Enjoy. I love how Rob was ready to type. It's like, arms up and defeat.
So a little behind the scenes is that, like, so I always have all my tracks written down. And if you have a guest, they write their tracks down too. Pernell has his written down on a piece of paper. So when he announces his track, that's when I type it into my document and then I download it and play it for the show. But when he says something like that,
like, enjoy.
I'm just not going to type it. I'm just going to read it. I just threw my hands up in the air. I'm like, nope. I'm not. Whatever I type in is not going to get figured out in the Google algorithm. The Google
autocorrect can't see
autofill is not saving me. In fact, I might get something weird. So, so I'm sorry. I cut you off.
Oh no, it was hysterical.
Yeah.
That track, Farde Mal Diavolo, comes from the game Unicorn Overlord.
Okay, I know that.
And it is composed by Mitsuhiro Kaneda. Welcome back. You are listening to Farde Mal Diavolo from the game Unicorn Overlord, released on definitely the PS5. I think that's the only system it came out on, though. And no, it may be Xbox. Anyway, and it was composed by Mitsuhiro Kaneda. This track goes out to the man Martyrs. If you've not played this game before, you might want to take some time to give it a chance because, whoa! Me personally, it was on my list of games I'm going to buy. Well, way back when they first say, here's a picture of a character, I was ready to get it. I did the thing I do when I bought it, took it home, sat it on my shelf, and it just kind of hung out there. But then what's become kind of funny lately, in the last definitely at least year or two, I'll go to visit my friend Matt down in Baltimore, and while we're hanging out, it'll be a moment like, oh yeah, I'm playing this game. I was like, oh, I got that, never started. He's like, how have you not started this yet? And he'll force me to watch a portion of the game right then and there. He did that with this game, and he put up the very beginning, and this music is what plays during the first battle of the game. At that point, from the moment that track started to really kick in, I was like, well, I know what I'm doing as soon as I get home. And sure enough, I got home at like 1 a.m. that night, and I went right to my living room and booted the game.
I tell you, like
started playing it.
Once those castanets hit, I'm like, oh, this is rad. This is super rad.
And it's also one of those tracks where it's just so, I don't like using the word half the time, but it's just, I think it fits here. It's such an epic track to play so soon in the game.
Yeah, very epic.
That you just know there's going to be a major story point later in the game where they're going to call back to it. And it's like, there it is. Yeah. And it turns out not only do they call back to it, but they do a different version of it to kind of really get you pumped. It's like, man.
That's good. That's really, really, really good. So Mitsuhira Kaneda. Do you know that name from any other?
He's on one side. I remember he's a group part of Base Escape.
Oh, Base Escape. Okay. Oh yeah, that's where I've seen the name Kaneda. Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. Along with, I
know, but I'm not going to remember right now.
Motohiro. I'll find it later. I can't remember.
For some reason, I was about to say something like Hip Tanaka. I was like, that's wrong.
He did the guy who worked on Ogre Battle.
Yes.
It's not Hip Tanaka. It is.
No, it's not Hip Tanaka.
The guy who worked on Ogre Battle. But yeah, Base Escape. Yeah, that's the sound. That's the sound. Big, epic, lots of instrumentation. Like it just builds and builds and builds and builds. It's fantastic.
Just wonderful. It
love it.
It doesn't come up too often in games I play, but whenever it does, I know I'm in for a treat.
Do you mean Hitoshi Sakimoto?
That's the man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I don't know.
I had to check right quick, make sure there wasn't a different composer.
I was having a brain fart because I definitely know him.
Yeah, I have these connections in my brain, but I've got the baby brain, man, and it's just names don't pop up anymore.
Well, I acknowledge that. I'm already fizzled.
I associate him with like tactical RPGs, but sometimes I forget exactly which ones he worked on. But I mean, yeah, he did a lot of stuff in the 90s, especially. So.
All right, so let's come around.
Fancy Tactics.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh yeah. Oh, we're coming back around to you, Chris, for your second track.
Okay, well, this one is I'm giving this one to Pernell. We're gonna keep the RPG music going, I guess.
Yeah, we got a lot of it.
I get asked for good music, and I'm like, well, what do I know from RPGs? Like Punky Duck. Punky Duck Quest, sorry.
Punky Duck Quest 64.
This one is from my Game of the Year of 2022. Snuck in at the last minute, like literally 2 weeks into December is when the game dropped, and I reviewed it for the SML podcast, which I'm also on with Pernell.
Yes, sir.
And yeah, and it snuck in and took the award away from the Live Alive remake, which I was going to give the honors to, and then I was just like, nah, this game rules hard. And that would be Chained Echoes. Chained Echoes, what do you call it, like the life's work of somebody,
I don't know how you pronounce it, right?
Yeah, just the magnum opus.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Of Matthias Linda. He like single-handedly made this incredible RPG, just a love letter to like all the stuff that the likes of us like really grew up on.
It was a solo developer?
Yeah, one guy.
I did not know that.
He had some assistance in some things, but I mean, even the developer name is just his name.
That is baller, because yes.
Now, the composer, though, is a fellow Texan, goes by the name of Eddie Marianacro, I think is how it's pronounced. I don't know how it's pronounced. It's a lot of letters. But he made this soundtrack, and, like that's one of the only things I think Matthias Linda did not do was the soundtrack. And this guy, I follow him on social medias too. He's a big champion of like, he even like reposted one of my Blue Sky posts saying that like my video game bands are playing, and like he's really into like video game music as well as being a very good composer himself. Anyway, this song is called the Rollin' Fields. It's like the first kind of mappy map, like overworld sort of music that you kind of hear. And yeah, I love this song so much. It's one of my favorite songs. So that's why I brought it.
All right, let's dance.
Let's get a spin. We have to unfortunately stop the song to start talking. This was so good. This was from the game Chained Echoes. And this came to us from Ways of Chris Taylor, who absolutely adores this game. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for playing it. Yeah, a little special note about this one. You may notice that the bass in particular is just like monstrous on this song, just incredibly tasteful. That actually was performed live by a bassist named Jesse Starr. Eddie uploaded a bass tab video for this very song, and in fact credits the bass player and links to his band. So that's really cool.
It's so nice at the very end of it, where it kind of strips back down to just the acoustic guitar and a little bit of the bass. It really reminds me of a little bit of Serial Experiments Lane. That song Duvet at the very end. Yeah, I used to love.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know, just the way like it kind of like slides back out like that just really gives me that vibe. But wow, this was something else.
So this is like I want to say overworld, because I know it's not. I don't think it's that kind of game, but this is like a field area theme.
Yeah, like the first action part of the game, where you're just kind of free to explore for a while, where you're not just playing through like story segments, because the game is pretty linear for the first part of it, because it's telling a story through multiple characters. But this is the first time you kind of get to just walk around and outdoors and like fight the not the metaphorical slimes and rats.
Okay.
Actually, I think there are literal rats. I don't remember what the first enemies are in the game, but they're pretty the easy enemies.
Yeah,
rabbits.
But this is it's like a pixely kind of classic-y style looking RPG.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. It's very 32-bit looking. Amazing pixel art. Like the backgrounds are just stunning, and it's got a really fun battle system. Like it's genuinely very engaging. I can't really sing enough praises about this game. And I beat it on the Switch. Also ordered a physical version from a company that like is pretty notorious for never ever printing anything. But
It's like super limited.
if I get it, no, it's who is it? I don't even know if I want to say since I'm trash talking him. But but yeah, it's like I did it just because one of the collector's edition bonuses is a physical CD of the soundtrack. But yeah, anybody who likes it should go over to Bandcamp or and download it like I did, or you can also listen to it on Spotify.
Well, my next track is coming from a game for Pernell. This is for you, Pernell.
Oh, double dip.
Well, the last track was for Chris.
No, that track was for me,
But
and now
your
track is for
my
me.
track was for him. Yeah.
So, that's right. So this track is for you. You get two.
Sing double
This-
dip.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
I was trying to find something that sounded like Falcom music. So you probably know this one. This is from a game called Knights of Azure.
I've never heard of that game.
No.
I made
Oh,
that
yeah,
up.
I was
I've
to
heard
say,
that one.
I was to say this.
Yeah.
This I watched some gameplay and I'm like, this is Pernell all over it. And then I played some music and I'm like, this is Pernell all over it. We're listening to music from it's called Goliath Z. This is the boss theme for the Blue Blood Dragon. Music by Kazuki Yanagawa, Daisuke Ichawa, Hayato Asano, and Tohihiro Yamanishi. That's everybody on the soundtrack. They don't really split out the credits on this one, but it's
a lot of
I know some of those names.
yeah. So
I'm gonna have
let's
to-
give it a listen. Back, we're listening to music from Knights of Azure. Knights with an N.
Knave.
Knave with a K. This is Goliath Z, Blue Blood Dragon boss theme. This is pure shredding on the PlayStation 4 by Kazuki Yanagawa, Daisuke Ichawa, Hayato Asano, and Toshihiro Yamanishi.
I should go home and open that up.
No, you don't have this one open yet.
It hasn't opened.
Oh, wow.
It's the Pernell way. I also have the sequel. I
Yeah.
should go home and open that up.
You gotta play the first one, though, right?
But I will play the first one first. It's only right.
I mean, like, it had that kind of actiony, like open field, action RPG thing that like I could just see you just playing. And our friend Kim, she's really into that kind of stuff too. Like the Tales games are kind of like that too, right? With the action sequences.
Yeah, the Tales games always drive me nuts though because they always start out manageable. You know, you get your little happy-go-lucky party members and you're fighting some slimes and some goblins and such. Like, okay, these guys are being controlled by the AI, but they're working well enough that I can control my guy. I can combo some dudes, heal as I goes. You get towards the back half of the game and everybody's just juggling you and your AI is stupid. So you're trying to give commands to everybody, but you can't do it but so well. So people are just constantly getting gelled back to life. It drives me
They're getting
crazy.
juggled in the air by evil vampires, and at the time you're like, okay, you go over there, you heal me, you go over there.
Oh, no, it's not even vampires.
No,
Now it's time gods.
Now you gotta heal me again.
It's like the time god Maxwell and
this is
crap.
another like gothic like style like themed game. I don't know why I was drawn to these games today.
Because they're awesome.
Look pretty cool. Yeah, I like the idea where like there's like blue blood that's infecting everybody, right? And
Makes them rich.
makes them rich. Oh yeah, makes them all money bags. But yeah,
I don't know what's happening to me. Oh my god! Oh wow!
But like it like infects
I
like
see.
objects too. It makes objects come to life and turn into monsters and stuff.
and become rich.
It's delicious, rich.
I was originally
rich
just
broth.
a cheap McDonald's glass. Now I'm China.
Man, that's what my house is missing is just those Coca-Cola float glasses I used to get from McDonald's.
Yes,
I don't know why I say it like McDonald's.
Macadoos.
Like McDonald's.
McDonald's.
It's like what is it? Is that Japan or Australia that calls it Macadoos?
Really? It sounds like Australia. They got some funny names.
Somebody out there's got to be calling it Macca's.
Macca's. I'm
Macca's.
sold.
All right, so moving on to Pernell. Pernell, your second track.
All right. Unfortunately, this has nothing to do with Macca's, but maybe I'll leave and go on the way home. I'll stop at Macca's and not buy food because I know it's not healthy. But God, is it delicious. No, this track is actually for Rob.
Oh.
Yeah, because I didn't bring you anything. I was just gonna.
It's so nice.
I was going to just drink my
Last minute
mold-infested
surprise.
water.
Pernell loves Rob.
Nobody loves Simpsons. This is with you again. We've acknowledged that you and your game hobby has kind of taken a bit of a backseat.
Yeah.
So I was challenged, thinking like, what would he really?
You know what
wanna
music
have?
I like though. You know,
And that's where I'm
Oh,
going.
right.
I know you like the YM2612,
I do.
and
I like some classic synthesizer sound.
so my thought was, even though you may have come across this OST before, but still, I was like, OST from a game that uses the YM2612 chip that is in a game that you likely have not and would not play. Originally, it was going to be from Duck Game, but then I realized that you've played. We've had Duck Game on the show back in like 2020. Last episode, one of the episodes that Chris was actually on, believe it or not.
Yeah, that's
which
right.
I thought would have
yeah,
been hysterical. I was like, wow, another Duck Game track
Whoa.
on another Chris episode.
That's when I was like, before I messaged Chris, I was like, when was the last time we had Chris on? I was like, oh wow, we gotta have him on again.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're always welcome.
Oh, thank you.
So this track, I was like, okay, I think this is close enough because it's from a game that I have played. It was on Sega Channel. It was one of their like, hey,
Ooh, cool.
you got to get on the Sega Channel now because you can play this game before it hits the
So
stores.
this is a possible like 32xe or
oh no, 32X, but it is the back half of the back end of the Genesis
Oh, okay.
lifespan.
Yeah.
This comes from the game The Ooze.
Oh, the Ooze. Yeah, I know about that one.
The track title is called something you can type. Waste Planet Part 3.
All right.
Or Waste Plant, rather, Part 3. And it's composed by Howard Drossen.
Oh, okay. You got a Howard Drossen track.
yeah.
That's very nice of you, Pernell.
You're
Thank
very
you so
welcome.
much.
See, I sometimes when I'm not drinking mold-infused water,
Guys, he still cares. coming back. This is music from The Ooze.
The Ooze.
Oh, I'm sorry. I stepped all over your toes here.
Stepped all over my ooze.
Stepped all over your oozy
Did
toes.
Ugh. Y'all ever really play the Ooze?
I did. So
It's
it's a weird game. Like, it was extremely difficult back then. Like, when I played it on Sega Channel, I could not find a love for the game. Like, I found myself being very frustrated by it. But at the same time, the premise was really cool, especially for how the ooze would kind of fill in various spaces as you were trying to squirm through locations on the map or on the level. Like, it technologically is a great game.
Yeah, for this.
Yeah.
So it's not like a platformer like any other game. Like, you're actually moving around like slime on the floor, taking up space.
It's a revenge plot. Like, you're a character who got like basically like a corrupt nuclear plant essentially decides to like dunk you in ooze, and you become the actual ooze, and now you're like trying to get revenge on the people who killed you by oozing them.
It's a little bit like a weird take on the worm game. You know, or like because like as you eat things, it kind of like makes you grow, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cool.
But that in turn is what makes it difficult too, because you're stronger, and I think if I remember correctly, I think you have to get points at the end of a level for like how much of a slime ball you were. But the bigger you are, the more of a target you are, and it gets to a point where it's just like it's very difficult just to manage your strength, and enemies are just stomping on you.
The game Carrion, right, was similar, wasn't it?
Yes, where you're the alien trying to like take out all the scientists in the lab.
Right, but you're kind of like an oozy, sort of like a nebulous thing.
Blorb.
Yeah, blorb, sort of just taking up space.
But it's cool that one, which is why I need to really sit down and play it at some point, is that you can do like weird body takeover mechanics, like body manipulation. So you can like steal a scientist, have him lure people over, and then just like wreck them all.
That's awesome.
So,
I totally had I blanked out there when I said worm. I meant snake.
Snake.
That's what I figured you were talking about.
You were going for. I was thinking like worms, like Worms Armageddon.
There was a version of Snake that was called like Worm or something like that. It was on.
Yeah.
There's some knockoff of it that I played at some point. Maybe that just got stuck in my head, like RFK Jr. Got a worm stuck in my head.
Got a worm. Yeah.
Blub blub blub.
Yeah, this is cool. Yeah, I remember seeing this. I think just based on the cover, I get it mixed in my head with like other games like Decap Attack and stuff like that. But it's just very different. This is a later released game, right?
It's one of the last ones.
One of the last ones.
But
it really 95.
And it makes me think too. Like, it gets back to that weird nostalgia bug that our brains gets, where they're like, "Oh, it was better when we were kids." Yada yada yada. In the sense that. Do I really feel like it is worse now that I can get a demo of most any game I want when I want to try the demo? Or do I feel like it was better because I had to wait, and every once in a blue moon I'd have an exclusive service that would give me a demo? I don't know. But Nostalgia Brain is telling me it was really cool that I could have Sega Channel and have the company go, for 1 month, you're going to get a demo of this game that won't be out for another 3 months. And only you subscribers get it. No one else does. And you're like, yeah, ooh.
Exclusivity bias.
Yes. Like,
but you got the opportunity to play like a lot of interesting stuff.
Yeah, but it's just this. It goes across all the spectrums. Like, there's a game I'm hoping to buy at PAX this weekend called Video Game Champion. And it reminded me of that exclusivity concept, because even in that game, one of the mechanics is you have to rent video games from the video store, and another player can beat you to the store and rent out the last copy, so you can't get it. There was just something about that limitation that actually made it feel better. Like, you ever hear people claim statements like the abundance of choice or too much of a good thing?
Yeah.
I feel like we all live in that. I mean, let me rephrase that. No, even still, because even if you don't have a ton of money, games get so cheap that as long as you're not like in poverty, if you're buying a game and you're looking to get something for dirt cheap, you still have so much choice and what to do to entertain yourself. I hear you.
You got $30 in an internet connection, you can get a pocket emulator and just about anything you want for 2 decades of gaming.
Right? It's like you have access to so much all the time. All the time. Like,
yeah.
I've had people think I was crazy for saying I can't recall the last time I was bored. Like, I don't remember what boredom is like. And I look back on how.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I got my like analog pocket like on me all the time. Like if I'm going anywhere, it goes like on my little satchel.
Exactly. Waiting in line back in the day, it was like, oh god, this line is so long. Nowadays, it's like I got my phone, I got my analog pocket, I got my Switch. I don't care. The line can be 3 hours long. I got things to do. But it's weird to feel like at that time when your options were limited and you had to take what you could get. It felt
for sure.
great to be like, this is what I was able to get at the video store. Time to find out if this is a grand or a dud. And either way, you're going to play it.
Although I will say, I remember as a kid, I grew up in the country next to small towns and stuff, like a couple of small towns. And in our closest small town had a Blockbuster and a video store called Downtown Video and Laser, because they had laser discs too.
Ooh.
Yeah. And the Blockbuster got one copy of Phantasy Star 4 on the Genesis in 94. And I rented it a couple of times, and I was like, this is like the greatest game if I hadn't just played Final Fantasy VI. This would be like my favorite.
Right.
I mean, they're both great, but I mean, like it's not like top or anything. But I was like, I really am into this. I can't wait to play this again. I went back to rent it again, and it wasn't there, and I was like, damn, somebody rented it out. And then I went back again, and it wasn't there, and I was like, hey, is this game coming back soon? And they were like, no, somebody stole it.
Oh, jeez.
They rented it out and never returned it, and it was our only copy.
Oh, that sucks.
That was an expensive cartridge.
And the other,
$100.
Yeah, 190 or 100, yeah. And the other place, Downtown Video, didn't have it, so I was just like, well, that's all I can do. I can't play this game now.
They were like, but it's okay. We've got Phantasy Star 3 right here. And you said, no!
It's just as good.
Phantasy Star 3, I need to give another try. But comparing 3 to 4 felt rough. Like, narrative-wise, it's great. Gameplay-wise, it doesn't compare to 4.
My plan before I play 4 again is to push through 1, 2, and 3 all in a row, and I'm working on 1 still. I'm like close to the end. Mm-hmm. But anyway, that was just my story about like that's like the flip side of the whole like it was great when a game was like exclusive, like or when you had it was like there was also that thing of like, well, the one copy in town could disappear.
That's right, yeah.
You just have no recourse. It's like Walmart wasn't selling it. Yeah, you could go to Toys R Us and maybe hope to score, or do the catalog thing, which I never got to do because those games were too expensive.
Yeah,
for my non-job having ass.
Oh yeah, I rented Phantasy Star 4 in virtual racing specifically because that's how I knew so much about the price specifically because I was upset about how expensive they were at Caldor. So I had to rent them. But yeah, Phantasy Star 4 was a peach. And I will admit that I likely was lucky because there were multiple video stores in Wilmington. Like there was multiple West Coast videos.
Yeah,
we didn't even have Blockbuster until like 96.
Yeah, I remember when we first got Blockbuster. I was like, wow, that's different because like West Coast Video and that was the one we went to all the time.
That was who we had.
Yeah, West Coast,
and then just whatever random like mom and pop video stores were out there, but West Coast was like property.
Vix.
Nice.
You ever go to Vix? Mm-mm. In high school, it was called Vix Video American, and they rented and sold exclusively like classics and art house movies, and so we would go there all the time and rent like Kurosawa and Warhol, and not Warhol, but just all the cool stuff. Yeah.
But that goes back to the dialogue from before too. Like in that case, though, it was less about the exclusivity and more about just the choice. Like any of us, when we go to our store, it's like, okay, here are all the options. You have a box with a front cover and a back image with like 3 pictures if you're lucky, and a short blurb, and you're this has to sell me.
The thing is, you go to a store, and often there were people who would work there, and they would watch everything, and they would like say, hey, you might enjoy this, or if you enjoyed that, you might enjoy this. It was like record stores. Record stores were the same way. I used to go to a record store and say, I'm looking for something like this, and they would give me like a stack of like 20 and say, listen to these. I think you're gonna like a few of these, And so,
Nice.
yeah, and like that Vic's place was the same way. It was so niche. You would walk in there and there'd be like 4 or 5 like old guys be like, "You're going to watch this movie now.
Like, yes,
It's
sir.
called Eraserhead." I'm like, "Okay."
Yes, sir, Mr. Eraserhead fan.
I'll
Yes,
be
sir.
the coolest kid in high school.
Watching Eraserhead.
I wanna give a happy ending to my Phantasy Star 4 story, though. By the way,
okay.
is that I actually do now own the game, and in fact, I lucked out completely and got a like brand new looking box copy of it for $40.
Oh, sweet.
Okay, that's a steal.
Yeah, it's still sitting on my shelf, and it still looks immaculate. And it's one of those cardboard case games, so
That's
it didn't have the hard plastic case.
Yeah, so keeping it
that's
together is
it's rare.
I will tell you. I will say this though, because we were talking about how Final Fantasy VI was definitely the superior game. Because I had the same take that you had, to be honest with you. But
Yeah.
I will say one thing that Phantasy Star 4 had over Final Fantasy VI. Once you got past the whole World of Balance to Ruin bit, it had multiple. Oh my God! I can't believe they did that plot twist that took place during the game. Multiple.
Oh yeah,
And I was like,
Yeah,
wait
yeah,
a minute,
yeah.
the game's still going? Oh, jeez.
it is
Wow.
such a ride. Like it is such a roller coaster. I love it so much.
Yes, it is. And I adore that game so much.
Well, let's keep
Yeah,
this
yeah.
roller coaster going. Segue.
Wee!
Oh.
Into the bonus round.
The bonus round is a coaster. I'm stuck because there's that stupid video with Today where it's
Mr.
just-
Bonus.
Mr. Bonus.
Now, everyone, please keep your arms and legs inside the vehicle during the bonus round.
And for those
Yeah.
who are very much of the not so earlobically challenged, keep your ears in too.
Keep your ears in too. I do have my ears are getting bigger. Are your ears getting bigger?
I can't tell.
My ears are
my
get-
glasses are still
Or maybe my
falling
head's
off.
getting smaller. Something's happening. It's
Mine
not
are just getting hairier.
That is happening, and I'm
Yeah.
bald as all get out. So that's scary to me.
because I look at pictures
That's
of
where
my
it's
dad
going.
when he was younger. I'm like, oh my God, I got his ears.
Going to the movies and not coming back.
It went for a pack of cigarettes.
Never take back.
All right, so for the bonus round, we are heading over to Chris. Chris, what do you got for us?
Okay, well, I could not share anything from Chained Echoes without also sharing my favorite musical joke of the game. Since the game's been out for 2 years now, you've had your opportunity to not get spoiled on this. But there's one of the best jokes in the entire game is that, okay, so it kind of starts out, like I said, the game keeps you on rails for a little bit and introduces characters by putting you in situations. And one of the characters has a situation where he goes to a Chrono Trigger style millennial fair.
Ooh.
Yeah, so a town is corded off. You can't leave it or anything like that, but you can go in and play some mini games and celebrate and have some fun before it moves on the story. One of those games is that you can bet on a excuse me, 1 second.
Gato.
All right. One of the games is that you can bet on a turtle race. It's a very simple, you can win it very simply. It doesn't really, or you can just blindly guess at it. It's no problem. But the point is that once the turtle race starts, the music goes from being like that very pretty, orchestral soundtrack to this bonus track, which is just called the Turtle Song.
All right, so
Teenage
in your
Mutant
mind,
Ninja Turtle
remember that nice,
Racers.
beautiful track with a beautiful bass and the
Think
acoustic guitar.
Chrono Trigger, alive and marketplacey kind of music going on, and then you bet on a turtle race, and then this happens.
Yeah, all the turtles line up. They're all super cute.
And the track is real slow. What?
You're just watching these turtles with action lines while they just slowly amble across the race, and it plays that track.
And it's like lined up, so right when that song ends, the race ends. The
Yeah.
lyrics are full speed ahead. There can only be one winner. The crowd cheers loud. 4 shells take place in the race of patience and strength. Place your bets now. Look, there they go.
Turtle.
Yeah.
It's
amazing.
amazing. That is an amazing little joke to stick in a game like this.
A little background about it, because I've seen people on social media ask Eddie Mariana Crow. Again, I don't know if that's how you pronounce his last name, but people have asked him about composing that song, and he was like, actually, that song is from a British death metal band called Zilf.
Oh.
So, yeah, he commissioned Zilf to create a song specifically for Turtle Race, and of course, they provided that.
That's incredible.
Yeah, incredible collaboration there. But just to let y'all know, that's not Eddie. That is a band, an actual band you can go and listen to called Zilf, Z-I-L-F.
I think like right after the end of the show, and Pernell says, "And remember,"
Well, you just spoiled my fun.
there's gonna be a lot of editing on this show, and you're not gonna know about it. All right, so my track is for Pernell. Definitely, this is a cover of "Sunshine Coastline."
Who doesn't
from
like that goodness?
Ease 8 Lacrimosa of Dana. This is
Hooray.
by Marvin Dawe, known as MDXD on YouTube. This is a really fantastic cover, so I hope you enjoy it.
Hi, Marvin.
back. So glad of you to join me. That was Sunshine Coastline from Ease 8, Lacrimosa of Dana. Just a fantastic song. Pernell says it's the GOAT of the video game music world.
Yeah, this was one of the first and one of the rare times I was able to get my gym to let me play my own music. The very first track I throw on the speakers was like Sunshine Coastline. It's like, what? It's like, just look it up. It's on Spotify.
It's so good. Yeah, it's got so much energy. This was a great cover by Marvin Daway, MDXD on YouTube. So also all of his covers are really, really good. I listened to a bunch of them today. But this one in particular, I saw it and I thought, Pernell introduced me to this track. So I'm going to make him listen to it again.
Dun, dun. Oh, no, the horror.
Oh, no.
Works for me, too, because I'm also a big Ease fan. I'm actually, on my Twitch channel, on Saturdays, I'm playing through the entire series.
Ooh, so. Which one are you up to?
Yeah.
We're about almost to the end of 5.
Wow.
So we're getting out of the 16-bit era and into the PlayStation 2.
Of course, then that leaves the question, then, which 4 did you go with?
I went with the Turbo CD version.
My man.
Yeah. The one that's not only fan translated but fan dubbed.
That's right. They went hard on
There's
that.
a fan it's fan dubbed.
Fan dubbed.
That's
fan dubbed.
Gotta be interesting.
I appreciate
it is certainly interesting.
Because back in the day when I originally tried to play the game, there were no dubs, and the whole cinema, like all the cinemas are story related. They aren't subtitled. And they speak. So if they're not talking, you don't know what's going on. So the fact that they went the extra mile to say, let's just dub this thing.
Wow.
It goes a long way to show that there's a lot of fan appreciation for the Ease franchise.
I feel like, or at least I seem to have known that there was a fan sub out there, but I couldn't find the subtitled version. Like somebody programmed in some subtitles and left the Japanese voices in.
Oh.
I personally would have preferred that, but yeah, I definitely just went with the fan dubbed Turbo CD version. I will play through the SNES version, but I'm not going to dedicate a stream to that. I may stream through Memories of Celceta, since I did purchase that on Steam on the recent sale.
Also, this guy, he hasn't said it, probably because it hasn't come up on the episode, but he's doing a 50 games beaten in 1 year.
Whoa.
As a guy who's lucky to beat 3 games in 1 year, if he's lucky, Chris is doing 50, and you're up to like 47 or 48.
50 Switch games, specifically. They have to be games I have not beaten before, and they have to be on the Nintendo Switch. Those are the only 2 requirements. It doesn't matter how small, of course, or whatever. It doesn't matter what they are. It just has to be a Switch game, first-time completion. And yeah, I'm on 48 now. I only have 2 to go.
And what, 3 weeks to do it?
Yeah, about 3 weeks.
So I'm waiting for it to be like, hey, I just beat City Connection. I got a high score and went to 2 different countries. It counts.
Oh, man. City Connection.
Yeah, that's my baby right there.
I think Chrono Cross is going to be one of them because I'm pretty close to the end, and I've been chipping away at that one this year. And I'd love to say that Dragon Quest III HD 2D Remake should be on that because I've been playing that a lot, but every time I play it, I'm like, damn, I made no progress in this today.
I heard there's a lot of battles.
It's a lot of battles and a lot of walking around, but it's like, unless you really push for it, you might just end up just wandering around in a few circles instead of actually progressing the game because you're looking for like mini medals or friendly monsters or like leveling up your jobs. And
that would be a tough game to stream for that reason. Like I couldn't justify not humping every door and pot looking for medals, and people have to watch me doing it on the stream. Like this is the most boring display. Like I'm sorry,
this is the game.
This is literally the game.
I did get around that in Dragon Quest VIII when I beat that one because I play Dragon Quest on Fridays. But yeah, with Dragon Quest, I did the mini medal. Like I would find mini medals as I progressed, and I would just take note of where I found them, and then off stream, I would go back and actually pick up the ones using a guide. Okay. And so I'd be like, yeah. So just I would pick up every pot because that's just the way you play the game. But of course, those mini medals are hidden better than that sometimes.
So of course, my brain was like, do you go to DQ and get a DQ while you play DQ on DQ Fridays?
Oh man, Blizzard, I wish. Man. That sounds good. Yeah. That
would be a good go-to.
All right, before you get DQ'd. What's your final track?
Okay, so my last track, of course, is going to go out to Chris, our guest and friend on the episode. it was a fairly easy pick for me because I know what your favorite game is, which happens to be one of my favorite games. No, not ease, not ease, but I know what is in there.
City Connection.
No, but that's my mom's favorite game. His is Crystalis from the NES.
Yeah. Nice.
And it's also hilarious because his gift to me was Rolling Fields. I'm like, wait, I got a field for you too. This is Wild Fields as a form of being a cover of a track, which I'm pretty sure is like not says actually Wild Fields, but that's what his is called. And it was covered by Ga Metal. You know what I'm talking about on both fronts. So enjoy the minstrel piece.
So it's actually it's Ga Metal. It's game metal.
Never. It's
like
Ga Metal.
Game. Like,
Never.
It took me forever to realize that because you've always said Ga Metal, and I looked. I'm like,
it makes sense that it's game metal, but I know what I'm reading. He's got a capital G and a capital M. He's got the Ga in there.
No, I read it as Ga Metal. That's definitely Ga Metal.
And then it's something I just figured out for myself. Then all right, here we go. Well,
no, I'm pretty sure you're right. I just refuse to acknowledge the correctness of it. That's all. Rob's like, I gotta keep us on track.
Keep us on track. Pernell.
Welcome back.
Pernell, please.
We were hanging out. And Rob was like, no, I'm gonna be responsible.
You're talking about all this interesting stuff, and I'm like, I'm not recording, guys.
I didn't know.
This comes. Welcome back. You listen to Game Metal.
Game Towel.
Game Towel.
Game Metal.
Game Metal.
Game Metal.
We've said multiple variations.
Game Metal.
He can't hate all of us. Yeah. This is Wild Fields from the game Crystalis, covered by him. Excellently, by the way. This is my present to Chris Taylor. Fantastic game. We were talking about how it would be nice to see this game get a remake, and then Chris went all in on his exact depiction of what that remake would be.
My list of demands are as such as that I very much want Crystalis to be remade by Nintendo because they own it. They don't, I don't think SNK even owns it anymore. Is the thing. Well, I guess, I don't know, because it's hairy. It got released on the NSO, on the Switch Online, but also on the SNK Anniversary Collection, so maybe they both own it. Either way, yeah, I want to see Crystalis remade from the ground up. Breath of the Wild presentation, and like that kind of principle applied to, like, because the game is mazy, right? Originally, I don't want mazes. You don't need that in today's gaming. So it's like, make it more like more exploration-y. Or if you're gonna put mazes, make them nice big caves like Elden Ring or Dark Souls or something. But anyways, but make the action more like Mana, like Visions of Mana. And then, just have the same story, but like flesh it out a little bit. And, you can have your main character talking. He actually talks in the original game. It's just right at the end of the game. But it's just such a beautiful like setting and like interesting design and like just such a cool world to occupy for the game's length. And, it's on the NES version, the puzzles are a little obtuse. They simplified them in the Game Boy Color version, but at what cost?
Heaven forbid the frickin' Portia puzzle when you're in the water town. You have to deal with the telepathy and find the fake queen. Oh God!
Yeah, I never had a Game Boy Color, so I never played the Crystalis on that.
Don't try.
I literally bought the Game Boy Color the day I walked into Walmart and saw that they had remade Crystalis, and it was right there in the shelf. I didn't know about it. I wasn't subscribed to any magazines at the time, and this was the year 2000, so the internet was not really the place you'd go for all the gaming news. I saw it in there. I was like, holy crap, they made Crystalis on a portable system. Well, I'm buying this portable system and in this game.
Whereas I bought my copy of it on Game Boy Color and then took it back to the store 3 days later. I was like, this music sucks. Get this out of my hand now.
There is something wrong with my copy.
Rip.
I was avidly angry about the music. I don't even know how to explain it in words. Like, what is this garbage?
I think that's going to be our ending theme music for the show today. It's going to be.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely do the. It's the same song, or it's the same place as like the song we just heard, but it's a totally different song.
It is. It is. Oof.
What was I'm trying to remember the composer's name. It was a European guy, I think.
I never even learned why they had to change the music. At one point, I thought maybe it was because the system couldn't handle it.
Well, I think the composer, the original well, I mean, they're both 8-bit systems, but like the original composer is Yoko Osaka, and I think she left video games like in the Neo Geo era. Like she was an SNK composer. She worked on the ones I know she definitely did was Crystalis and Prehistoric Isle. That shooter with dinosaurs.
Okay, that name rings a bell.
Yeah, it's a shmup with dinosaurs in it. It's pretty cool. It's also on the SNK collection. But I can't seem to find the composer's name because
no one wants to talk about this version
for good reason.
There's a section in Wiki, but that composer.
Hang on, Moby Games has my back, I bet.
Come on, Moby. MOBA. Yeah, but that was the era when Electronics Boutique will let you return opened games, and I am so glad for that.
I know a workaround for this. No, I don't.
That's all right. We'll figure it out in post. For more information on the bonus round, go to rhythmandpixels.com, where we'll have links to our artists' Bandcamp, SoundClouds, YouTubes, everywhere where you can get the music, support the music, and support the artist. All right, thank you everybody for joining us on episode 38-2 of Rhythm and Pixels. This is our season of gift giving with our special host, Chris Taylor. Thank you so much.
Thank you for giving us your time.
And giving us your music and giving us some money.
No, he didn't. It's not. He's like, wait a minute. We'll talk about it after episode. But thank you for coming on. It was great having you on today.
Thank you for having me.
And Rob's like, I don't know what this is next.
I shouldn't be answering texts during the show.
Look at Rob.
No, it's all right. Yeah, I feel like I was going back through some past guests, and I was like, man, we always have people on the show. And we're like, oh, that was really great. You're welcome anytime. And then like you and I are like, well, we're busy again.
Where are they? We gotta get them back.
There we go. So I decided to reach out, and I'm so glad that I did. This ended up being a much more RPG heavy show than I think I had anticipated.
The RPG aficionados hanging out on the mics.
That's I should have anticipated that. But we had some of my favorite music on today's show. I really enjoyed that a whole lot.
Yeah, good stuff.
All right, so before we head out of here, Chris, do you want to tell people where they can find you online and?
Oh yeah. I didn't even know we were still going.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you want to find me online, it is Liar Exaggerate, like the character from Earthbound, the weird neighbor. That is my Blue Sky handle, and that's also where you'll find me on Twitch. Those are the only two places where I'm active on the internet. You can find my band Super High Tops on YouTube. We most famously did a cover of all of the music from Toe Jam and Earl in one live take, including the elevator beats, including the bits where all of the music except for the drums and bass drop out. So it's a 15-minute jam, and I think you'll like it.
That's very good.
Yeah, it was an idea I had many years ago, and basically just an excuse to learn that soundtrack on bass. My other band's Gimmick. You can find us some places. We're kind of revamping our presence, so you don't need to look for us right now. And then my other band is called Thunder People. That's original music for which I also play bass and do some vocals. Our album Party at the Gates of Dawn is available anywhere you listen to music.
Thunder People is a great name for a band.
Yeah, I like it.
Wait, anywhere else in the music? It's even at FYE?
FYE.
Well, if
Sam
FYE
Goody
has an online presence, then maybe.
SamGoody.com.
Might be on that.
Where does that redirect to? I don't even want to know.
Don't even look.
What? Thunderpeople.com?
SamGoody.com.
Oh.
The Sam Goody an East Coast property, or is that all around? I don't know. The Sam Goody like an East Coast? Do you know a Sam Goody, Chris?
Yeah, I heard the name, but there was no Sam Goodies around me when I was growing up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it must be an East Coast.
By the time I got to it, it was gone.
Yeah, that was too bad. I almost worked at a Sam Goody when I was in between jobs in my early 20s. It was in New Jersey. I would have had to have driven like an hour and a half to get there.
But Sam Goody.
For like a really low-paying mall job.
But Sam Goody.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
That's 2 O's.
Yeah.
The guy I worked with, though, his name was Stu.
Stu Goody.
But we called him Stu. His name was actually Mark.
Mark Goody.
I don't know why. He was obsessed with Ozzy Osbourne. And
nice.
Yeah.
What, with Ozzy himself, or like with like Black Sabbath?
Black Sabbath mainly. So we would go into the store and people would be like, hey, I'm looking for this band. And he'd go, Ozzy? And they go, no, I'm looking for like, it's this boy band. He goes, Black Sabbath? And he would just he was a
Black
fantastic
Sabbath was
employee.
A boy band?
Yeah.
I need to speak to your manager.
He was the manager. He was going to hire me.
My manager, Tony Iommi.
I haven't thought about that guy in ages. I don't even know why we called him Stu, but it was so funny because I knew him in high school, and then we went to his house, to his family's house. We were like watching a movie, and we were picking him up. We're like, hey, is Stu around? Were we getting ready to head out of here? This is before cell phones. And
he was eating bats.
And his parents said, who's Stu? And I was like, your son? It's like, my son's name is Mark. I said, this is weird. Anyway,
he was eating bats.
He was out there eating bats and listening to Black Sabbath. For more information, that was a weird cut. That was not, it sounds like, I realize the way I talk sometimes sounds like I edited the show, but it's just the way I talk in real life.
Yeah. Hello, everyone out there in Radio Land.
So for more information on our show, including a track listing of our episodes and access to all of our episodes, including all of our wonderful past episodes, Rhythm and Pixels Babies, go to The website.
www.rhythmandpixels.com.
And if you want to get in contact with us, just send us an email.
rhythmandpixels@hotmail.com.
You can find us on our Discord. The Discord's linked there on our website. We're also on Blue Sky. I deleted our Twitter account. Whatever. No one was using it anyway.
And welcome. If you didn't delete it, I'd be like, why haven't you deleted it?
Yeah, I just got rid of it. So it's gone. So you can find us on Blue Sky, where I have it kind of set up where every day it just kind of plays one of our favorite tracks from one of our episodes.
I like that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So follow us there, Rhythm and Pixels, all one word. And then if you want to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/rhythmandpixels. And there you can help support everything that we're doing. We used to do live streams, but now we're kind of doing like little short episodes where we read emails and stuff. But we're going to get back to live streams.
And believe it or not, I'm
Relatively
actually slowly starting to try to stream.
So now Pernell's getting into video game streaming. I've noticed it popping up here and there.
It's very difficult.
Yeah.
But also you can you get early access to episodes through our Patreon is kind of the main benefit. But the other benefit is that you're helping support the show staying hosted. Whereas we're not hosted on the Internet Archive. We're hosted on another place that's a little bit more premium. So at the end of every episode, we like to thank our members who are at the highest levels. So Christopher Shenstrom, thank you very, very much. Corey Clark, Khalid, also thank you both very, very much.
Thank you.
Fantastic supporters of the show. Thank you to GameFan44, Kristen, Antmaster, Brian Pitt, Cameron Worma, and I should just give another shout out to Cameron. I'm going to give him a special one-off shout out at the end of this. And Carlos, Kung Fu Carlito, also involved. Chris Weisner, a.k.a. Musashi219.
The wise guy.
Davey Cakes, David Good, David Taylor, and Charlotte Bergol, Harold Howard, Jamie Palmieri Guy, Triple Jeff, Justin Schneider from XVGM Radio Podcast, Kitty Sparks, Martyrist of the Re-VGM Podcast, Rage Cage of the... I'm not sure.
VG Emporium.
VG Emporium.
He
maybe.
still hasn't. I don't think he's come back yet. Still, but it's still
a
pending.
bit of a hiatus. Reinhard Silkova, Steve Miller, Taco, and Zach Thornbach. Thank you, and many, many more for continuing to support our little show. I also want to give another shout out to that album by both Camerons. It's called the Camacom album, the Camthology. It is 20. I think it's 20 tracks of really awesome rock versions of NES tunes. Crystallis, The Floating Towers in there, Alien 3, Karnov, Legendary Wings, Time Lord, Shatterhand. There's some really awesome tracks in here. And
those are all excellent.
And the cover artwork is done by Carlos, Kung Fu Carlito.
Host of the Heroes 3 podcast?
Host of the Heroes 3 podcast, a podcast devoted to Asian cinema and Kung Fu movies.
Oh my God.
In particular, yes. But yeah, he's really Carlos is a fantastic artist and apparently a great pixel artist as well. So, that is Cameron and that is Cameron. That is unmistakably that.
But which Cameron is which? I can't tell.
I'm seeing double Camerons. So yeah,
4 Camerons.
So our next episode. So this episode will be released pretty close to Christmas time, if not on Christmas time, because that's just the way I've just lined things up. So, So. Happy holidays for those of you who celebrate. We'll see you after the new year with a new episode. So long.
Farewell. I'll be there. Say goodbye. It was a pleasure having you on, Chris. It was a grand old time.
Brought to you by, in association with Sam Goody.
And remember,
I wonder if you're going to do that. You started singing.
Well, you did. Well, you didn't do your. No,
it was close enough.
I'm Robin. Well, I guess. And remember, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Have yourself some McNuggets and grab a nice nap. 8 hours of sleep a night will do you very good. And watch you fucking. I don't know. Be good to your
Dude, that was
president.
great.
Thank you.
Yeah,